Okay, here we are I'm in the back seat of the 310, and Jeff is sitting up there in the passenger seat. And all the years that he's been flying with me, all the different airplanes, the Bonanzas and the 310s, and I got to tell a story I told it already about the AA1A. But now he has flown this 310 on so many trips. He actually flies it better than me. And I feel so comfortable I can go back and take a nap if I want to, and I can trust him to take this airplane where it has to go. He's also much more conservative when it comes to the fuel, because it gives me a big knock on the side every time it gets like a little bit lower than he thinks it should be. So, Jeff, what do you think about the years that you've been flying this 310?
Yeah, well, one of the things that I've learned from my father, who taught me how to fly when I was about 11 or 12 in the Grumman, when we have a story, you've seen that. But the thing that I think is interesting to share is the idea of the pinch hitter. You might all have heard of the pinch hitter, or basically in your family, if you're flying, you're probably going to have somebody who flies in this seat, in the co-pilot seat, whatever airplane you're flying. It could be your wife, your husband. In my case, a child, your daughter, your son. And so one of the things that Dad did was teach me how to fly, and that not only was that fun for me and thrilling, it also gives an added safety measure when you're flying general aviation aircraft. And so you've got another set of eyes in the cockpit. If an emergency happens, you have somebody that can land, and fly the airplane and land it. So that's the term pinch hitter that's commonly used, and that's basically a situation where if you have somebody that's going to be flying with you on a regular basis, have them take lessons. Have them at least learn how to land the airplane, know the systems on the airplane, know what to do in the case of an emergency. That's the number one thing, but the benefit of that is hopefully they'll never have to do that. But it also, you have a co-pilot with you, and that's really important. And we've been in situations where, that served us very, very well. And it also makes it a lot of fun. So basically, I would really, really encourage you to do that. And if you're the person that's sitting here, that's a very valuable thing for you to learn and for you to know, is all the systems in the airplane, how to watch fuel, knowing where you're going, how to navigate, how to communicate, what are the frequencies that you would use, how to read the charts, understand the charts, why you file flight plans, what VFR is, what IFR is, all those different things involved, so that you're a part of the flight. So in cases where we've done a lot of long distance, and being on the West Coast out here in the Northwest, we've flown all over the place. So, and then we're always going east, because if you go west, you run out of gas. So, anyway, so we have a lot of long cross-country trips where you do have to manage fuel, the weather, calling flight service, understanding that, and then being able to communicate that. So my father and I have been able to communicate that. My mother took lessons in the 70s, so she could pinch hit as well. And so, my mom and dad have been on trips where my mom's been, really kicking them in the guts. And there's been situations that we've talked about in this little series where that's benefited us. And so it's a safety thing. We really, really encourage you to do that, pursue that with friends and family, with those people that fly with you. So,
say, Jeff, the one thing I wanted to ask you, and that is, please explain that nightmare you had when you dreamed that you were up in an airplane by yourself.
Yeah, I've had more than one of those, but I did have a 310 nightmare where for some reason I had to take the airplane somewhere and Dad wasn't around. And I can't remember how I got into the situation, but it was really scary and bad weather. And I was like, oh my gosh, how did I get in this situation, And it seems, it was just terrifying. But then at the same time, you think about, okay, well, you know what? I can do this. I know how to do this. I know what I need to do. And but yeah, that was pretty funny though, and I don't remember what it was, but
said you were scared to death.
Like what am I doing up here? Yeah, and so and there's been a few of those throughout my life, little things, but anyway, but yeah, we think that's real important for you, and hopefully that helps, and we do all this stuff for fun and also to help people.